Rose. The show is Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you for joining me today. Lots of football to talk about, lots of football in the South to talk about, lots of bowl games to talk about. The bowl games really matter. Or so we say. I think that the college football playoff is the only bowl game that matters, which in fairness is what Nick Saban was always afraid of. So we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans have made the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Me and my youngest brother, Kate, were there. We watched the action. We froze our butts off to bring you this information. So we will bring you this information, but I want to give you an update. You Georgia fans might want to know that your team is losing 31-17 to the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, they're still very much in this football game. And I'm watching this game. And one thing, and Kate can back me up on this one, but one thing that I noticed is that Kirby Smart is coaching his butt off right now, right? They had the goal line stand against Oklahoma right before the end of the first half, in which they had to get a stop there. They didn't ultimately wind up getting a stop because Lincoln Riley is a tricky man and went with the wide receiver reverse flea flicker situation and was able to outsmart Georgia in that way. But that being said, in terms of Kirby Smart using up all of his timeouts to get his team gathered together and organized, and they almost held the goal line stand there. And then they had 6 seconds to try and kick a field goal. So they ran a play to get into field goal range. And Terry Godwin caught the ball, didn't get out of bounds. And Kirby Smart had the presence of mind. This is insane because he had the presence of mind to realize Godwin's not in bounds. And he's running up the sideline, calling timeout. And they get the timeout with 1 second left, make the field goal. The score of this game is 31-17. So it's still a ball game because Kirby Smart is out there putting on a clinic. Some coaches out there watching this game, but like, keep your eyes on Kirby Smart, man. If Georgia loses this game, it will simply be because Baker Mayfield was too much. It's not going to be because of coaching or because necessarily the players weren't good enough. It's going to be because Baker Mayfield was too much. I mean, he's looking like he's too much in this game. He's already thrown for a few touchdowns. He's already thrown a touchdown. He's already caught a touchdown in this game. So we're already in for a decent Baker Mayfield day. That's going to be the reason why Georgia loses if Georgia loses. But this is still very much a ball game, and we'll be trying to give you updates for that. We've got the game on here in the studio, so we will keep you up to date on that. Now, the Tennessee Titans are in the playoffs for the first time in basically a decade, first time in 9 years. It was 2008, the last time the Tennessee Titans were in the playoffs, which means most of the guys playing out there on the field have not actually seen the postseason. I mean, like a lot of players that you like, Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota, Brian Orakpo. Surprisingly enough, I actually thought that he was on the playoffs, but I realized he left the Redskins before the Redskins made the playoffs. So yeah, Brian Orakpo has never been to the postseason. A number of your top linemen have never been to the postseason. So this is a new experience with the Titans. I want to say congratulations to the Tennessee Titans. I think they did a fantastic job drafting and making this team and building up this team. Now, I still have my problems with Mike Mularkey. Those things have not gone away simply because they've made the playoffs. And you can talk about this because we were in Nashville listening to the local guys in Nashville, and they were talking about, well, you can't really fire Mike Mularkey because making the playoffs is progress. I'm like, how's this progress? You won the same amount of games last year that you did this year. The conference was weaker this year. That's why you're in the postseason. You won 9 games that get you in, right? Because last year you didn't win the right 9 games, essentially. You won the right 9 games this year, and the conference got weaker. That's how you got in.
Yeah, like we watched the game, and we had many criticisms of Tennessee before we went, and all of them were on display for the entire game, including like their interesting choice of offense that does not yield them many points, despite the many situations that they were in to score touchdowns.
How many times, do you remember how many times? I usually try and take notes when I watch games, but I obviously when you're freezing your fingers off, you're not taking
notes. The hand.
Yeah. So, yeah, how many times, do you remember how many times they were in the red zone? Like inside the 20? It was like 4 or 5 times.
Yes, and like they got the ball at least past the 50 and probably like 3 times because of Blake Bortles.
It was a few times. And reliably, Bortles would turn it over or something like that, and they get the ball in good field position, and be unable to score. They'd get super conservative. I can tell you exactly how Tennessee runs their offense at this point. It's like, yeah, let's try and throw a short throw on first down. Let's try and run on second down. And then it'll be third and long. So now we have to pass it and pick up the first down. And that was it all day. Like, yeah, no, I'm not giving Mike Mularkey any slack because now he's in the postseason. And, you know, they were hoping the Ravens would win so they could get the chance to play the Jaguars again, because it seems like after all the love that Blake Bortles has been receiving for somehow looking like a competent NFL starter, he has regressed into the Blake Bortles that we know and love. How many turnovers, Cade, did Blake Bortles have yesterday?
You see, I'm not going to hold the one where he threw it to the receiver and the receiver fumbled, but I believe he threw 3 picks.
Yeah, he threw some bad ones, too.
Yeah, no, like some off the back of the foot. As soon as he throw that, you're like, oh, that's going to be bad.
Yeah, there was one that flew straight to Adoree Jackson. Like, it didn't go anywhere else. It stopped at go, didn't collect $200. It went straight to Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, it's like a floater, and it's like, oh, no. And it got underthrown and went straight to the defender.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. Man, when Blake Bortles is bad, he's arguably the worst quarterback in the league, and one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. I mean, my God. I don't know what Jacksonville's going to do in the playoffs, because part of it, too, is that Jacksonville's defense allows for them to be able to make up for Blake Bortles not being a good quarterback. And they've had some guys injured. Like, that defense is not as strong now as it was at the beginning of the year that propelled them to that 11 wins or however many they have. Like, it's not as strong now. And so, yeah, you're Tennessee. You're praying that you get a chance to play them again, and now you get stuck with the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs, who have been pretty competent on both sides and have had a surprisingly good offense the last, let's say, quarter of the season.
Surprisingly good, I would say, is a very good, accurate way of saying that, because they fell into this lull in the middle of the year where they couldn't score. Andy Reid demotes himself from offensive coordinator, gives up his play calling abilities. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened to the Chiefs, but I will say this about the Chiefs. Even when they're bad, they execute, right? Like, they just get outplayed. And maybe they get a little bit too clever with themselves and they try and outsmart people. But they execute. Like, this is not a failure to execute. And I would say when Jacksonville plays bad, especially on the offensive side of the ball, it is a failure to execute. It's a failure of Blake Bortles to throw good passes or to make good decisions with the football. It is a failure of receivers to hold on to the ball and hold on to valuable possessions. Because in a game where Tennessee is dominating the game, I thought, all game long, but only kicking field goals, like they didn't really punish Jacksonville for being bad at all in that game.
Yeah, like with Tennessee, like I haven't seen them like do the things that I could see them doing these things and be like, well, this is how they can win sustainably. With Jacksonville, we'd seen it before, and they haven't been able to do it these last 2 weeks, which has not allowed the other team to like start to get ahead of them, which the 49ers did and the Titans did, even at such a slow pace that fans had begun to cheer 3 more points. 3 more points.
Yeah, everyone in the building knew. It's insane. Everyone in the building knew they couldn't get in the end zone. I mean, you get inside the 15-yard line and the fans are going, 3 more points, 3 more points, because everybody in the gym knows, yeah, we can't get in the end zone. I mean, that is it's kind of sad, but also,
yeah,
I'm a little surprised that they actually found a way to win that game. I mean, a lot of credit goes to Brian Arakpo, who had some big-time sacks late in that game, including one to really put the game out of reach. But suddenly turn on the positivity right here simply because you're in the postseason. No. I mean, all the problems that you had before you made the playoffs, you still have. And we do this, by the way, year after year. Then you get surprised when the team doesn't make the playoffs the year after. You're like, what? What happened to them? Weren't they in the playoffs a year ago? Like, yeah, they had problems. They were 9-7, and they snuck in. I mean, let's not be crazy. But I did say at the beginning of the season, I thought the Titans had what it took to get in. I thought the Titans had what it took, though, to win the division. And I still believe that there's talent on that roster to win the division. I think what's holding them back is the coach. I mean, Mike Mularkey was very, very content to not really try all that hard to get aggressive. And it almost cost him, because remember that one play where Marcus Mariota and Derrick Henry, they ran a counter play, and Derrick Henry, I believe, went the wrong direction, and they ran into each other, cough up the football. Jacksonville scores a touchdown off of that, and we have a 15-10 game.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
when the Titans went up like 12-0 or 12-3, I was starting to think it didn't seem attainable just because the Jaguars hadn't shown an ability, and now they're more than a touchdown away. But once that fumble got returned for a touchdown, I was like, oh, this is kind of where the Jaguars want to be. And like the team, in like key moments offensively and defensively, sort of had to save the Titans.
Yeah, and so that brings us to one of the key offensive moments that we both enjoyed, which was Marcus Mariota taking the team, putting them on his back, and carrying them to the playoffs by himself. Because there was one play, I think it was 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
And Mariota runs for a first down on a play that really no one's open. There's nowhere else to go. And he takes off. And he gets hit by a defender who he shrugs off and then stiff arms another guy before running and picking up like 12 or 13 yards, which was necessary. That first down was huge because it put the game away. It meant that you didn't have to try and kick a field goal again or punt to try and get Jacksonville and like trust your defense to stop Jacksonville. Like now, you just have to ice the game. Yeah, that was a huge, huge play.
It was so big. Like we were just sitting down, and then when that play happened, like we got up to cheer with the Titans fans, even though neither of us are Titans fans, because it was just the most amazing play of that game.
It was, and it was right when they had to happen. I think that's the thing, at least, that you can say about the Titans, because I don't want to stand here and like have people go, you just bash the Titans for an entire segment, which I almost did. But I will say this about the Titans. When they had to have it, they made plays. And that counts for something. That means a lot. But I think that means a lot when there's a team that you're equal to. I think that doesn't count for anything when you're playing the Chiefs. And so, whatever the Titans do, they're going to need to really neaten up some of this stuff that they've got going on, some of this execution stuff. And they're going to have to get more aggressive because whatever we know about an Andy Reid offenses score points.
Absolutely.
They put points on the board. That's going to be a track meet when you play them. And one surefire way to find yourself on the wrong side of a track meet against an Andy Reid football team is don't score, kick field goals. See how well 5 field goals does for you against Andy Reid.
Yeah, this is the team that, like, in the middle of it, I believe, with a 6-game losing streak, was like losing games but scoring 35 points. So hopefully with this, the Titans, they went close enough to the fire that they realized that there's going to have to be some change made.
I mean, what I want to see is a more aggressive Malarkey. Now, it's still not out of the realm of possibility that Malarkey gets fired here just because he made the playoffs. That actually does not make his job safe. You would think that it might, just given the way that the NFL tends to be a results-based business. But I also think that if you want to be ahead of the curve on this one, you go ahead and let Malarkey go. Now, maybe you don't if the guy makes the playoffs and you don't have a succession plan in place. Like you don't have someone who's going to replace Malarkey, and you look around and you go, look, the coaching situation in this league is going to be scarce. When you look at the amount of open jobs that the Bengals have an opening, the Cardinals, Bruce Arians retired today, so they've got an opening. You've got Del Rio being fired by the Raiders. They've got an opening. So you've got openings all over this league. And by the way, Georgia's breaking off a huge run here. Nick Chubb scores a touchdown. That's a monster run by Nick Chubb. 23 points on the board for your dogs.
And that's the kind of thing, because, I mean, I feel like you gotta, if you think Georgia, you're thinking of Nick Chubb.
You're thinking of Nick Chubb.
But like, that's the kind of play that it was gonna happen.
Eventually. Like and this is how it happens with Georgia. They just sort of wear you down with their running game again and again and again. Now, the question here is, and my computer kind of failed me a little bit, so I don't know what they were able to do to stop Oklahoma on that opening drive, because Oklahoma got the ball back the beginning of the half. So I could not tell you what happened there. But what I can tell you is that the key to this now is going to be slowing down Baker Mayfield in some way. But really, it was a typical Georgia stretch run. The gap opens up for Nick Chubb, and he takes off like a cannon, like a cannonball shot out of a cannon. I mean, he's just gone.
Yep. So some dude gets his leg about 7 yards. There, it's just sprinting.
It's really weird. Nick Chubb is huge, and it's not possible for a guy to be that big, and then he accelerates. Mercy. So there you are, Georgia fans. Your ray of sunshine in this game. It was looking like Oklahoma could punch their ticket. This one's not over yet, as you might presume usually. But this is going to be. I don't know exactly what the over/under was for this game, but I hope you took the over. Is what I'm saying. This one's going to be a high-scoring game. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on all new Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. I want to say that Alabama's a lock, by the way, to go to the national title game, but I can't say that. Like, I actually can't say that Alabama's a lock, and the reason why I can't even say that is Clemson.
Yeah, like, they've been the team recently that has been giving Alabama a lot of trouble. Even when Alabama was able to beat them, it was really close.
Yeah, they're sort of the giant slayers in this whole thing. I never imagined for a minute we'd have Alabama Clemson 3, but here we are 3 years later, and it's happening again. And I say this because there are certain teams, you got to have a certain design to give Alabama fits. One part of your design is that you have to have a good defense. You can't show up and try and beat Alabama with a bad defense. The other part of your design is that your offense has to be predicated on throwing the football. You're not going to out-Alabama Alabama. Okay? You think you're going to show up and run against that football team, that defensive line, those linebackers when they're healthy, and push them around. It's not possible. They're bigger than you, they're stronger than you, they're faster than you, and their whole roster will be in the NFL this year. That's how it is.
Yes. I realize that, I think, to the fullest extent when they were able to bully Leonard Fournette, who then went to the NFL and is doing just fine in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, and we knew Leonard Fournette was going to be an NFL player, and he still couldn't do anything to Alabama. Like we knew at the time Leonard Fournette was an NFL caliber player. After all the horrible things that he did to Auburn, that he should apologize for. we knew then, and he couldn't do anything to Alabama. So yeah, no, you can't out-bully Alabama. We've seen LSU try and do it for years. It's never worked. It's never worked. Here's how you beat up Alabama. You stretch them out. You make them run. You spread them out, and you throw the ball. Now, it's straight up throwing the ball is not going to work. Having a team that is the Alabama giant slayer. Your quarterback specifically must be the kind of quarterback that keeps the defense on its toes. He's not just a thrower. He's not just a runner. He's both, and he's got to be great at both. And Kelly Bryant at Clemson, look, I underestimated this guy the whole year through, and I'm not doing it anymore. I've seen the light on this one. I watched Clemson play Louisville, and I thought Louisville was going to win that game. And Kelly Bryant went out there and outdid Lamar Jackson at his own game. And when I saw that, and oh boy, down goes Baker Mayfield, the Georgia defense, all over him, all over him. There you go, and that's a fourth down now, upcoming. Oklahoma's gonna have to punt. It looks like Georgia's figured out the key to slowing up Baker Mayfield here. I don't think that they completely stop him, but it looks like Georgia's figured this out, man. We just had I believe it was a extra man brought in on a blitz. Maybe safety. I can't tell who that is. But yeah, it's incredible. It looks like we sort of figured out Baker Mayfield here a little bit. As he got Oklahoma punting it again, so Georgia's going to get the ball back. This is becoming more and more of a ball game. But yeah, I want to say that you need the kind of quarterback that gives Alabama fits. He's mobile and he throws the ball. You've got to be able to do both. This is why Deshaun Watson was so successful. This is why when you look at other quarterbacks who've been successful, Nick Fitzgerald at Mississippi State this year had some success against Alabama. They didn't win the game, but it was close. Nick Fitzgerald, he throws, he runs, he does both very, very well. That's the kind of guy that gives Alabama fit. You're listening to all new Nooga Radio here on NoogaRadio.com and 92.7 FM. This is Clutch with Keon Rose. We talk a little bit more Georgia, Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, and some more of these NFL scenarios. Next.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news. Now.
Yet another drive-by shooting in Chattanooga, this time on the 1800 block of East 4th Street. 42-year-old Broderick Autry was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle after he says he was shot from a passing car. The Violent Crimes Bureau is investigating. The man who was gunned down on North Bishop Drive has been identified as Evan Derry, and he died in the hospital. The Chattanooga Police Department is trying to track down his killer. The Violent Crimes Bureau is on the case. If you have any info, please call the police. This marks the 33rd homicide for the year 2017 in Chattanooga. A major drug bust in Tennessee. Dennis Bonneau and Aaron Reed were arrested at a rural airport in Crossville. Their small plane loaded with more than 150 pounds of marijuana. The TBI, along with local law enforcement and Homeland Security, were on the case. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7.
Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now. The University of Tennessee at Chattanooga is set to host the 2018 Southern Scuffle presented by Compound Sportswear beginning on Monday and Tuesday. Billed as the top in-season collegiate wrestling tournament in the nation, Southern Scuffle is held at McKenzie Arena. Wrestling starts each day at 10 a.m. with a full schedule of events and information on tickets and the new hospitality passes that are available on thesouthernscuffle.com. High school basketball tournament championships underway with girls championship between Christian Academy of Knoxville taking on Cleveland, and then later at 8:30, boys championship will have Jones taking on Cleveland as well, with the defending champion Bradley beating Shelby Valley 62-38 in the Andrew Johnson Ladies Classic up in Greenville, Tennessee. Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Oh man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go? It's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits. Oh, I got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson.
An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Your team has just been infected with the deadly virus. Your only hope there in an abandoned farmhouse.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee.
Escape Experience Chattanooga.
These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room, game, and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
If your computer's running slow, if you have viruses, if someone called you asking to get into your computer, just say no. If a screen pops up on your computer saying your data is going to be deleted, and you have to call this number, don't call it. You need to call Affordable Computers. You wouldn't invite a stranger to come into your house to look at all your books and records. So why would you invite someone to look at your records on your computer? With one wrong click of the mouse, you could be allowing access into your entire system. At Affordable Computers, we can stop them now. Don't be fooled by scammers and pop-ups that tell you you must call this number or your hard drive is going to be deleted. You need to call Affordable Computers. Call Affordable Computers now. Microsoft is never going to call you. Microsoft is never going to ask you to call them. If you see that on your screen, you are being scammed. Stop and call Affordable Computers. 423-499-1975. That's 423-499-1975. In Fort Oglethorpe, call 706-858-5888. That's 706-858-5888. Affordable Computers.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News, NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at Noogaradio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
You're listening to 92.7 FM, all new Nooga Radio, Noogaradio.com. Welcome to Keon Rose Show. I'm Keon Rose. Happy New Year's, by the way. I hope you all are enjoying it. I don't know if you're one of those people that has a day off. I do not have a day off. New Year's, I was offered a day off, in fairness. I just like talking sports and coming in and getting to share all this stuff with you guys. And I didn't want to wait and have like 2 days worth of football to talk about it. I figured let's get in here and get this done. Because you got Georgia playing right now. They're playing Oklahoma. They're playing them right now. And I'm actually not watching that game right now because on the screen in the studio, we've thrown up the highlights of the Peach Bowl. I missed the Peach Bowl earlier today because I do some other work. I work nights. So I was asleep earlier in the day. And I woke up and I expected Auburn to really just win this game. Now, Auburn is up in the third quarter, 20-13. How do they wind up losing this game? What happens? And I don't know, but I do know this just from looking at the highlights. This UCF quarterback, man, this guy's a wizard. I mean, he's running all over the place. He's darting back and forth. And I don't know that Auburn was prepared to stop this guy. They've never seen a quarterback like him. They don't make anybody that looks like this guy in the SEC.
I mean, he was their leading passer and rusher. He threw for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he ran for another 116 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and okay, there's Jarrett Stidham throwing the pick six, so that's not good. Down 14. Look, I'm just saying, I'm looking at the highlights, and I'm like, how did this go wrong for Auburn, who looked like they were in this game the whole way? I still think that they were the better football team, but this guy, this UCF quarterback, whose name now I have to know because I feel unprofessional not knowing it, not prepared.
Mackenzie Milton, number 10.
This Mackenzie Milton. And they're not ready for him. They don't look to be prepared for this guy. And let me not say that they don't make quarterbacks like Mackenzie Milton in the SEC. They made at least one. His name is Johnny Manziel. Prime Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. That is the most exciting I've ever seen a college quarterback be at his size. He's tiny. Manziel is. And Mackenzie Milton looks smaller, to be honest with you. And he also looks more dynamic than Manziel. Again, to be honest with you. I mean, this guy is darting all over the place. He's like some bizarre combination of, like, I don't know, Fran Tarkenton, Doug Flutie, and Russell Wilson. It's like a Frankenstein's monster of those three guys. And it's just scary. And there's Jarrett Stidham throwing an interception again. I mean, yeah, lots of things went wrong for Auburn in this game. It looks like. And it all happened in the second half, and it all snowballed on them. And it doesn't look like they were prepared to slow down Mackenzie Milton. And the 3 turnovers just doesn't help.
No. I knew they had some big defensive players at UCF. I hadn't really seen them play. But I think the biggest thing I knew about them was that they could score. And Auburn was not able to stop that at all.
Yeah, and Auburn's defense, by the way, is a legitimate defense. It is a very strong defense. But here's the thing. When they talk about it in boxing all the time, styles make fights. Your team, your defense may be designed to beat teams of a certain kind. Right? And Auburn plays in the SEC West. What do we know about the SEC West? It's big. It's strong. It's physical. You're building your defense to stop Alabama. You're beating your defense to stop LSU. You're building your defense to stop Arkansas and A&M and these schools that just pound you. Right? So when little Mackenzie Milton shows up and he's darting all over the place and you can't seem to grab him because he's like a ghost, what do? I don't have any answers. I don't have the answers to that question, and neither did Auburn. Neither did Gus Malzahn. Like, they didn't have any answers to that question. I have never seen a team look so incapable of stopping a guy that they've had this long to prepare to stop. Like, because it's not like Auburn just got there and discovered that Mackenzie Milton was mobile and fast that day. But what I'm guessing is they were not prepared for what they saw on tape. What they saw on tape didn't match what they actually saw when they went out there and had to try and catch him. Because, boy, that's something else.
I mean, I guess they're like a smaller team in a smaller, like, conference. So you can only really see, I'm not sure.
Central Florida, they're Conference USA, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
I think they're Conference USA. But yeah, it's
like, you can only see, like, film of them playing, like, smaller teams from what I see of, like, their record.
Yeah, like they were playing like USF and like they weren't playing big time opponents. And I actually thought that was a weird bowl game choice. Auburn versus UCF. Like, I thought, boy, Central Florida's gonna get flattened here.
It was a very begrudging move to have to move them into the ranked teams just because they had been undefeated all year.
It's Scott Frost, and he's a very coveted coach this offseason. He chose not to leave Central Florida, and you can see why in that game that he's such a coveted coach, because offensively he had his team ready to play, and Auburn was not ready. They looked entirely unprepared, and that is not acceptable. In a Peach Bowl, in a New Year's Bowl 6 game, it's not acceptable. I mean, I don't even know how that's possible. And oh boy, here goes Oklahoma with a flea flicker again, but Baker Mayfield overthrew his man. So, yeah, it's something that's absolutely mind-boggling to me, how unprepared they look. Now, again, I just watched highlights. Like I said, I wanted to see the game live, but I work nights, so I was unconscious for that game. Not unconscious for Georgia-Oklahoma. Currently, Oklahoma leading Georgia 31-24. And Georgia starting to show some signs of life offensively. That offense is starting to wear down Oklahoma. And it looks like the defense is starting to figure out Baker Mayfield some more as well. Baker Mayfield not looking nearly as effective in this game since the second half began. He hasn't made nearly as many big plays. He hasn't made nearly as many big throws. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this adjustment of Georgia that Kirby Smart has made, how that holds up. And by the way, the sign of a great coach is in the adjustment. It's in the, okay, this guy is kicking our butt in the first half. How do we slow him down? And it does appear that they have, I don't want to say cracked the code necessarily, because, I mean, we're still in the third quarter. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the third. But they have started to figure out Baker Mayfield a little bit more. He has not made nearly as many big plays. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose here on All Nooga Radio and NoogaRadio.com, 92.7 FM. By the way, I just want to say this about Tennessee and the Titans, because the Tennessee Titans were able to defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 15-10. Oklahoma breaking off a huge run here. They're on the Georgia 40-yard line. So yeah, I'm looking at Tennessee and I'm going, how do you even begin to deal with a Kansas City offense if you're Tennessee? Because sure, I feel pessimistic about the Titans' chances of beating Kansas City. But if you're the Titans, you have to actually go in there and try and win the thing. Yeah. I really don't like the happy to be here mentality. You can't go in there with that mindset. That's how you lose. And the reason why that's how you lose is this. You have no guarantee that you go back again, right? Like we saw early in Dan Marino's career, Dan Marino was able to go to a Super Bowl, and you assumed, because Dan Marino is such a great quarterback and one of the greatest of all time, and certainly the most talented quarterback that's ever played football, you assumed that Dan Marino was going to go back to many more Super Bowls, and he never did. Right? You can't assume that, well, our team is trending upwards and we're moving in the right direction, especially if Mike Mularkey's our head coach, that you're going to be going back to the playoffs again next year and the year after that and the year after that. You don't know that. And so if you don't know that, as the Georgia Bulldogs sack Baker Mayfield and drop him back, it's a 2nd and 18 now on the Georgia, looks like 28 or so. You can't assume that you're going to have these opportunities a ton of times. You hope you will. Georgia's sacking Baker Mayfield again. Oh no. I think they have figured out the code.
Yeah, like it's clear they had the fortune to keep it close in the first half, and they've been playing like a different team so far this second half.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball. This is lights out. They run a stunt here. They trap them in the back. Oh, man.
They've almost completely negated the really big run that Oklahoma had a few plays earlier to get to their own 40. And now Oklahoma is playing back at their own 24.
Looks like it. And it's 3rd and 27 for the Sooners. So, yeah, I for one, scores 31-24 in that game, by the way, for those of you just joining us. And so, boy, it's another big hit. And so, yeah, looks like Oklahoma's punting. So, yeah, I'm looking at Tennessee, and I'm like, yeah, you guys, how do you even begin to slow down this offense? Because this team is more talented. Okay, this team is more talented than the one you just played. You played a Jacksonville team in which defense is their calling card, and they're dinged up defensively. You played a Jacksonville team that the quarterback is Blake Bortles. Who even knows who their best receiver is? I'm not familiar with that roster, and I know Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson and those guys are pretty decent, but like I don't know which one is the good one. I have no idea. Who's wide receiver number 1 in Jacksonville? God only knows, because I don't know. And offensively, they've got Leonard Fournette, but again, when you know that Leonard Fournette is the only real threat, he's not as scary, obviously, because you're not going to pay as much attention to any of these receivers. You don't have to play a zone. You can stack the box. You can play man-to-man on the receivers and stack the box and force Blake Bortles to make good throws, which, by the way, has not ever proven to work. Like Blake Bortles making good throws. It's just not a thing. So I looked at it and went, well, yeah, so there's Jacksonville. You want a Jacksonville again. You're not getting Jacksonville again. You're getting the Chiefs. You're getting a solid defensive unit in their own right. You are getting Alex Smith, who is maybe not as strong-armed as Blake Bortles, but certainly 10 times, if not 15 times as accurate. You're getting Travis Kelce as a scary monster in the middle.
Getting the deep threat of Tyreek Hill going down the sideline.
I mean, you're getting a lot of offensive weaponry to figure out how to stop. And I think Tennessee is actually a solid defensive team, but solid is not going to cut it in the postseason, especially if you can't sustain drives and keep your defense off the field. And I didn't see anything yesterday that suggested that the Titans are capable of sustaining drives. Now, I think that they are capable in terms of the talent. I don't think that they're capable in terms of the scheme. And I thought yesterday, since Mike Mularkey loves his exotic smash mouth too much, let me put it this way. I thought yesterday the Titans were a little more smash mouth than exotic. And if you're going to beat Kansas City, you're going to have to get more exotic. You're going to have to throw the ball more. You're going to have to let Mariota do what Mariota does. Don't be under center so much. You don't have a choice. The Chiefs will run the score on you.
Yes, like the way Tennessee was playing yesterday, it's very, very, I guess it lends itself to longer drives that don't necessarily end in a score, which is the thing they cannot afford, to go on several running plays and have Kansas City tighten up and stop them in time to leave them with just a field goal, because Kansas City just will keep piling up the touchdowns over time, and you can't keep up that way.
No. And by the way, I know you said long drives that ended in field goals, because they did have a couple of long drives that ended in field goals, but they also had short drives that ended in field goals. So those are the ones that bothered me the most.
Off of some turnovers, they would have nearly 3 and outs, except they started on the 30.
Reward your defense by putting 6 on the board. I mean, at least take some shots in the end zone. It is reprehensible to me. I mean, it's absolutely horrific to sit there and watch a team have the ball on the 15 and not throw it once. I mean, there was a drive, they didn't throw it. They just ran it, and that was early in the game. That was not one of those, well, it was late in the game, we're just trying to burn clock. No! You was 6-3 at that point, and you settled for your 3rd field goal.
I don't know if I ever saw them take a legitimate deep shot.
They didn't. Because you're correct that you don't remember that you saw that because you didn't see that. That you were correct, sir. They didn't. We're even close. And now Sony Michel getting in on the action here for Georgia. Or that's Terry Godwin, actually. My bad. Terry Godwin getting on the action here. They're picking up a first down. They're starting to march up the field now. Oklahoma might be in a little bit of trouble. I might be speaking too soon because, I mean, that was like the second first out of this drive. I'm just saying Oklahoma might be in a little bit of trouble. But I just want to see more out of the Titans. And the reason why I want to see more is because it's there. If I thought that this team wasn't good, I just say that. I don't mince words on the show, and I don't say things just to make people feel good. I know I listened to homers growing up my whole life on the radio. And the one thing I always said was that I'll never be a homer. I'll never sit here and blow smoke up people's rear and just say stuff to make them feel good. No. I will tell you the absolute truth of what I think. What I think is that I don't think the Titans are going to win next week, but I don't think it's because of talent. I think it legitimately is because they do not have a scheme that is aggressive enough to hang with Kansas City. But if you've got Marcus Mariota on your team, okay, and I have a friend, we talk about this all the time, Marcus Mariota has an Aaron Rodgers potential to him. Potential, okay, before people call this show and start screaming about how I said that Marcus Mariota was Aaron Rodgers. I would suggest nothing of the sort. Another deep throw from Jake Fromm, picking up another first down. I would suggest nothing of the sort. Okay? Marcus Mariota is not Aaron Rodgers. What I'm saying is that he's got Aaron Rodgers' potential in as much as he's the same kind of quarterback that can make plays and extend plays with his feet. And he's got a strong arm, and he is ridiculously accurate. Also, Marcus Mariota has a pretty decent release as well in terms of speed. So I like all of those things about him. But if you're going to have that guy, let that guy rip the ball. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't understand the conservatism, and it doesn't work in the playoffs. It just doesn't. I mean, you play scared in the playoffs, you lose. I'm trying to think of a time where the game plan was, let's be conservative in the modern NFL, and you win that game.
No, it's very rare. There's maybe like two teams that like carried their offenses to Super Bowls on running and like defense, and those defenses are legendary. Everybody references them,
right?
And the Titans don't have that,
right? You have I believe the 2016 Broncos were one. Was it 16 or 15?
15.
The 15 Broncos. The Seahawks.
Yes, that was 2013, maybe?
2013 with the Seahawks. I'm gonna trust you on this one because actually I don't remember because I'm an old man now. But
I believe the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah, the 2000 Ravens had one of those defenses. Trent Dilfer got the Super Bowl, so you knew it had to be a legendary defense. And the '85 Bears, like we're talking about since '85. How many teams have had less than stellar quarterbacks and less than stellar quarterback play? And then, oh boy, we got a run coming in. Hold on, I interrupted myself. Sonny Michel takes off and explodes all the way to the end zone. And this game is tied at 31 apiece. Georgia and Oklahoma standing chest to chest here in the third quarter. Oh boy, Oklahoma might be in trouble.
I make no predictions.
Oh boy.
Considering Georgia has outscored Oklahoma 14-0 in the third quarter, I hope you in Oklahoma did not pop the champagne quite yet.
Well, first off, you pop champagne in the third quarter, someone ought to slap you. Like, literally just ring your doorbell when you answer the door, go upside your head. Just unbelievable if you do that. But yeah, like, if you thought this one was getting away, these two teams are fairly equally matched. Baker Mayfield is the guy that's the difference maker. But here's the thing. When you rely on one guy, it's tough. And Oklahoma's from the Big 12. And one thing I know about the Big 12, and you're going to have to trust me on this, I'm the Big 12 guy in this town. I watch Big 12 football, hook 'em horns. With that being said, nobody in the Big 12 plays defense. Absolutely nobody. This includes Oklahoma, by the way. They play good defense relative to the Big 12. They don't play good defense overall. And here comes Georgia, and they changed the play at the line of scrimmage. So Jake Fromm saw something, and he pulls Sony Michel from his left to his right, and just gives it to Michelle, puts the ball right in his chest, and Sony Michelle takes off. Walks the tightrope along the sideline inside the 5. That's a touchdown. That is a touchdown. 31-31. Bulldogs and Sooners. The Bulldogs come roaring back. That one is, that's unbelievable. I have all the world of respect for Sony Michelle. That is absolutely incredible. We were talking about it earlier. When you think about Georgia, you think about Nick Chubb. But yeah, Sony Michelle, don't forget about him. He's also scary. So 2 long runs in the third quarter get Georgia right back in the ballgame. I mean, when you talk about a team and their running game in 2017 being just as good as anybody's passing game, that is hard to find, even in college.
Yeah, it's one of the few teams, really, that you think of and you think an offense with big play potential, yet led by running.
Unbelievable. Anyway, Todd from Keon Rose here on Nooga Radio, NoogaRadio.com on 92.7 FM. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Catch my field report from Nashville in Nissan Stadium. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, folks, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7.